A lot of water there on the ground.
Just what we need is more rain. Golly.
Like a hole in our head, right? You know, as bad as it is, we've had, George and I were talking about this earlier, in the last 39 months we had 6 hurricanes. As you mentioned earlier with Hazel 45th anniversary yesterday, in 13 months between August of 54 and September of 55, we had 6 hurricanes in 13 months.
We just duplicated that.
Yeah, but we spread it out over a longer period of time. We got a hurricane coming on our way. George and I will tag team we'll tag team action some hurricane coverage for you and what's going on with Irene and what's read for the rest of the week coming up next. Of course, George is standing by in the weather office, and once again you're looking at a live shot from Oak Island, which took the brunt of Hurricane Floyd. And I'll tell you one thing about the Oak Island beachfront is there's no dune, and that means it's very unprotected from any type of storm surge, any types of waves, and you can see some of those waves there in the background that Hurricane Irene, or for that matter any nor'easters that we get this winter, will bring into the area. So that is definitely not good news, and also not good news is the fact that we're under a hurricane warning all the way from Cape Hatteras southward to Savannah, hurricane watch north of Cape Hatteras, up to the North Carolina-Virginia state line, and we have some rain out over the ocean to take a look at. Let's take a look at Skywarn Doppler radar if we can, and we'll see plenty of rain, the heaviest rain, the big bulk of the rain, a lot of rain down to the south, getting ready to eventually move its way to the north. We do have some squalls, a squall line coming in along the Brunswick beach right now, and then off towards offshore from New Hanover County. We'll scoot in a little closer on that. Take a closer look. You see the heaviest rain right now from Bolivia eastward to just about Monkey Junction and then offshore. And then one more stop. We zoom in a little closer down towards the Carolina Beach, Fort Fisher, Bowling Springs Lake area, and we're having a problem with the radar. But there is some rain there. You saw that. Let's take a look at the forecast for this evening. We'll see the rain start to increase through the evening hours. Temperatures will stay in the 70s, and winds won't be that bad this evening. However, they will pick up in the overnight hours, and definitely during the daytime tomorrow we'll see the increase in rain as the storm gets closer to us. Skywatch Neighborhood Network from Altel takes us to Whiteville. It's 73 degrees there. Light winds and no rainfall to speak of there so far. In the backyard here at the station we have 74 and a light northwest to north wind, and of course not much as far as rain. We did have a little sprinkle. One more stop. We go down closer to the storm. We go to Ormond Beach, Florida, which is right around Daytona Beach. Northwest winds there 20, 30, 40 miles per hour. They've had a peak wind gust of 57 miles per hour, which is tropical storm force but not hurricane force, and they've had about 2 inches of rain. So this is what we're looking at for tomorrow afternoon and evening. George will tell you about that in just a moment. Official numbers for today at the airport up to 79, down to 62 this morning, and 3/100ths of an inch of rain so far today. That will certainly be on the increase during the daytime tomorrow. Temperatures, low to mid 70s across the state. Temperature-wise, we're not going to drop very far tonight, and we're not going to go up very far tomorrow because of very tropical air mass in place with the showers, with the cloud cover, and with this thing coming at us, Hurricane Irene. And to tell you more about Hurricane Irene on his 3rd day of his vacation, he started on Thursday, is Chief Meteorologist George. George, how's your vacation going?
Oh, yeah, it's going nicely. You know, I spend all my vacations at this resort I know over on Shipyard Boulevard. I think it's WECT. It's a nice place to go on all vacations. Anyway, satellite picture shows the storm. It's a large eye. Now, this Irene has a large eye. It's not a very strong storm, but a hurricane is a hurricane. You can say a weak hurricane, but still a strong storm of any sort. You know, it has an 80, 85 mile per hour sustained winds and flooding rains and a storm surge, which could go up around 6, 7 feet in spots. So yes, we're going to have a problem with this, even though it's not a real powerful storm. It doesn't take a real powerful storm to cause problems, as we saw. As a matter of fact, with Floyd, it was a stronger storm. However, most of the strongest winds stayed offshore. It had a bigger storm surge. This will be more like a Bertha was or a Dennis. 28.8 north, 80.0 west. 285 miles south of Charleston, moving north at 10. Max winds at 80 miles per hour, and that's mostly confined to the east part of the storm. As it moves northward, it will begin to jog a little east of north and begin to graze, by tomorrow afternoon, graze the South Carolina coastline through the evening hours into the North Carolina coastal counties. A close-up view, this is the likely path, which puts, around 3, we'll say mid-afternoon tomorrow, just southeast of Charleston, significantly affecting Georgetown County, Horry County, and then northward through the afternoon into the evening through Brunswick, New Hanover, Pender, Onslow, right up the coast once again. And the wind field likely with this, 40 to 70 mile per hour sustained winds, coastal counties at some point during tomorrow. Lesser amounts, Elizabethtown down toward Columbus County and northeast from there, and lesser amounts Fayetteville to Hope and Scotland County. These are sustained winds, and it looks like there'll be gusts higher than that. Rainfall amounts 6 or so inches, primarily the central counties we have there and coastal areas. Flooding rains, yes. Storm surge may be up around 6 feet, maybe in some isolated locations a little higher than that, especially Horry and Brunswick County once again, but that storm surge will be an issue in New Hanover and Pender counties as well. Deteriorating conditions tonight, but especially tomorrow as the hurricane gets closer. If I were you, if I were to be leaving, if I lived in a low-lying area near creeks, tributaries, rivers, streams, anywhere that floods, low-lying areas, flood-prone areas, beach communities and barrier islands, I would leave those areas. You don't have to go real far. Just leave those areas that are problematic, that are potential flood areas from storm surge and or rain. The rest of us, batten down the hatches. You don't have to run to New Jersey or anything like that. And even if you want to go, you can go up to Fayetteville. Won't be as bad, but it'll still be kind of inclement. But up toward Raleigh, even decreasing winds there. So it's not going to be a big storm that carves across the entire state. There you have it from the hurricane perspective anyway. Hey, Mark, after this vacation, I'll be all rested. Please bring us some autumn-like weather so I can enjoy going back to work.
We'll see what we can do. And actually, later this week, it's going to turn out to be pretty good if we had any fall foliage around here with all the pine trees. Another thing that we're going to have to deal with is all the heavy rain, like George mentioned. There's a flood watch in effect for everybody for tonight and tomorrow, and that goes without saying because of the heavy rains and because we're still saturated from all the storms from last month. Tonight, your Skywatch weather. Showers on the increase, especially coastal areas. Temperature-wise, down to 71. Winds at the coast east to southeast, east becoming southeast, 10 to 25 miles per hour. Inland areas, easterly, 10 to 20 miles per hour with higher gusts. Tomorrow, hurricane conditions. Rain, wind, 79 for the high. Coastal winds, southeast becoming south, and then eventually more will shift around as the hurricane passes by tomorrow night and into early wee hours on Monday morning. Southeast to south, 20 becoming 70 and with some higher gusts at the coast. East to northeast winds, 20 to 60 miles per hour. Inland areas you saw on the graphic earlier. Along the coast, hurricane warning. Tonight, east to southeast winds, 20 to 35 knots and gusty. Seas 6 feet near shore, 12 feet farther away from the coast. Water temperatures at 72. That's another thing that Irene doesn't like. Low tide is next at 7:15, high tide at 1:30, low tide at 7:15 tomorrow morning. It looks like the time that the storm will actually come in will be at a time of low tide, so there's the good thing. Well, that plus the fact that we're not in spring tide, we're in neap tide, we're in about a quarter moon phase, so that's also good that we will not be having the worst case scenario as far as a landfall. Of course, we have the rain tomorrow. Monday, the rain comes to an end very quickly, clears out. Monday afternoon will be very nice, maybe a sprinkle or two, some leftover rain early wee hours on Monday, then cooling off big time as the trough of low pressure in the atmosphere, the upper atmosphere that's pushing Irene out, and will take Irene, carry her out to sea very quickly once she gets through here, cools us off big time with highs in the upper 60s for the rest of the week. Another system comes through Wednesday night, Thursday. We're looking at time frame for some more rain, some showers, and thunder.
Hurry Monday afternoon. That's all I can say.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Mark.